Alright, I'm going to give you an update. Just got a bunch of news. This is Thursday, March 3rd. It's like 12:09. My wife is coming home tomorrow. A bunch of people who don't even know me, who don't know Wanda, have been working behind the scenes to make her transition home and my work here easier. I never expected this. I mean, I'm very cynical. I always have been. My dad was cynical. I mean, when you're a working person, all you think about is the only thing you'll ever have is what you work for. You know, and that's actually very true. But if you do the right things, if you take care of yourself, which obviously we didn't do that right. But if you work a lifetime and you do the right things as far as being responsible and paying your bills and getting some money in the bank and being with a good health insurance company like Kaiser, and just being a responsible member of society, at the end of your life, suddenly things come available to you. Now, the care that I've got from these people, these hospice people, if you were poor and you were on Medicare or Medicaid, they would give it to you too. So it's just some really wonderful people. I had never been through this, so I never knew. Yesterday I went down and I made the arrangements with the funeral home to when my wife passes, to have her body cremated and returned to me. We're not going to have a memorial service or a wake. We might have a thing at a church later. I got a huge number of pictures, and I'm going to pick some pictures that show who she is, how beautiful she was, how beautiful her heart was, and we might have a memorial service then. But Wanda only really had two really good friends, a wonderful husband and wife named Joe and Paula, who have a wonderful family, and they always held Wanda in their hearts, all of them, those kids too. They thought of her like a second mama or like a second grandmama, and Wanda loved them back. And she didn't get to see them much at the end of her life because she was just so sick, and it became terrifying when her memories started going away, because I was the last year of her life. One of the things they don't tell you about a person getting sick like this, and when it starts affecting their brain, is that unless you have power of attorney, everything that happens with them is elective, which means that they can override what you are trying to do to help them. I strongly recommend everyone who has I recommend it right now. If you got married yesterday, well, not yesterday, but if you got married, say a week ago, and the honeymoon's over, that you speak as your husband, you speak to your wife, and you, as your wife, you speak to your husband. You say, "Honey, we need to go to a lawyer, and we need to do power of attorney forms on each other in case of we are incapacitated." I didn't do that. and it's creating some problems. But problems that aren't important right now. We've been very blessed to get the care we've been getting. I also want to say to everyone who is on blood thinners, for God's sakes, don't stop them. Okay? I don't know why Wanda had such a problem with the blood thinners. I don't know. She was on Plavix when the she had the Reglan problem in 2017, and then she went blind from some medicine that the doctors gave her. Well, she went blind in a week and a half, and the only thing I could find out what caused it was the change of a drug from lisinopril to isosorbide mononitrate. We changed it back to lisinopril, and she stopped going blind. But that could have been from the Reglan. Who knows? Wanda's past history is Wanda's past history. I want to tell everybody this too. When my wife got sick in 2012, I told my wife, I said, honey, I'm not going to harass you for the rest of your life. If you want to eat a hamburger and some French fries, I'll get you a hamburger and some French fries. Now, it might be a smaller hamburger than you want, and the fries might be a small fries with no salt on it, but I'll still get it for you. If you want to eat some meatloaf, I'll get you some meatloaf. If you want some mashed potatoes, I'll get you some mashed potatoes. My wife's life always revolved around food. Food was the one friend my wife always had, beyond Joe and Paula, and me. She grew up in a family with a viciously alcoholically addicted father who, when he wasn't drinking, which is not very often, he was a nice guy. But when he was drinking, he was Satan on earth. My wife got to watch her mother get viciously beat repeatedly by that man. Her sister, who's 20 years older, got to see that. There were things that happened between my wife's father, and her 20-year-old sister that were horrific. My wife was living as a child with her mother when her mother told the father to get out of the house and go away, and they were absolutely destitute and broke, and they were living on the classic, white bread and if they were lucky they had a piece of bologna. That kind of life. And her sister, her 80-year-old sister, 20-year-old older than her, actually was making money and bringing money down to them so they could survive. That's how bad it got for her as a child. When she got older, as a teenager, she bloomed into an absolutely beautiful young woman. Unfortunately, that created major problems around her alcoholic father's friends, who were also alcoholics, and other men around her that were absolutely not concerned about her welfare at all. Wanda started eating to bury her feelings. She started gaining weight. She became less physically attractive, but she was still, to me, she was wonderful. But she gained a lot of weight. And she was smoking cigarettes at the time, too. She smoked from the time she was like 14 to the time she was 40. And this is where a lot of her heart disease came from. When Wanda in 2018 had a cardio workup that showed 98% blocked arteries in like 3 arteries of her heart. And they said they couldn't, Kaiser doctor said, we can't operate because she's had 30 years at least of diabetes, that a lot of it was uncontrolled, and if we cut her to get an artery, she will bleed on the table. The artery will not, you could stitch it, but it will not heal because you have to have strong clotting factors and stuff like that. And diabetes just obliterates blood vessels. I will tell you this about diabetes. If you have diabetes, please, for God's sakes, take care of it. If you want to know what diabetes is like taking a big vat of oil, a big vat of water, putting sugar in it, and boiling your entire body in sugar until you kill yourself. That's exactly what diabetes is. It destroys everything inside your body. And by the time that I realized Wanda wasn't taking her insulin and taking care of herself was after the 2012 stroke. That's when we started religiously taking the insulin and watching what she was eating, but it was too late. The damage was done. She'd already had 40 years of eating too much, drinking too many sodas, smoking too many cigarettes, and I mean the ride we've been on for the last 10 years has been terrible. But Wanda got better. I mean, she got sick, then she got better, and we had some great times and we had some fun times. So, but Wanda pretty much, I want to say this to everyone, please take your blood thinners. If you, there are numerous blood thinners on the market, so you don't have to take a certain one and say, well, I can't take that. There are numerous blood thinners on the market. Your doctor can work on doses. I would say this about Pradaxa. I was disheartened to see the high dose of Pradaxa. I actually mentioned that to the Kaiser's doctors, and they were going to get back to me. But then I went on the internet and saw that that is exactly what they prescribe to people to stop or try to prevent blood clots, which is 150 milligram pills twice a day. They also offer 75 milligram pills. But Wayfarin was an old school blood thinner that was used for a long time, and they used vitamin K to reverse it. Pradaxa and Eliquis and all these other ones are new. Pradaxa for a while didn't have an antidote, but it does now. But don't stop taking your blood thinners. We had so many things happen, and we had no idea what was going on, because every time Wanda had a problem, they did a test, MRI and a CAT scan. They said she hasn't had a stroke. We don't know what's going on, and then she got better, and then she got worse, and this cycle just kept going on for 10 years. And I retired a month and a half. Well, now it's what? I guess it's 2 months ago. After my wife, well, it was January 4th, so January. Actually, I retired at February 1st, 2022. I retired to take care of my wife, to stay home. I said I'd worked at a company for 21 years. It was a good company, I gotta say. I enjoyed the work. I enjoyed working with the people I work with. I enjoyed what I did. I installed office furniture. But my wife comes first. So I retired to take care of her. I mean, I retired to, I thought she only had a memory problem at the time. And then the Pradaxa came in the scene, and man, all hell broke loose. But I don't believe Pradaxa. I believe that the situation was that this was going to happen, and with the Pradaxa in the situation, that it actually, I don't even know if it had an effect on it. I can't really say. I don't know. I mean, she's had a massive stroke. She's coming home, and we're going to take care of her until she passes away. I will not be putting a feeding tube in her. I have signed the do not resuscitate order, because there's no reason for my wife to sit in a bed while bed sores eat her butt alive, and she doesn't know where she is, and her soul is trapped in that body. I love her. I love her. I did. I almost said that. I love her to death. I will live. I will love her after she's gone too. But I would say this to everyone: there is no holistic way to fight this battle. Okay? Other than if you're going to do it, you've got to do it all the way. If you're going to stop your heart disease, you're going to have to get on that vegetable diet. You're going to have to get away from the bad foods. And here's another thing I would say to everyone in America: the television is killing all of us. One of the things we used to do was we would sit down and watch television at night for 6 hours until we went to bed, instead of going out in the yard, walking down the street. And my wife loved Andy Griffith. Now, Andy Griffith didn't kill my wife, so let's not go there. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that sitting down is killing a lot of Americans. We do a lot of sitting down in cars. We do a lot of sitting down at our house. We do a lot of sitting down at eating. Sitting down's killing us. And eating the wrong things is killing us. And not staying on the blood thinners and stuff, that's probably killing us too. But who's to say? Because, man, my wife had so many reactions to every medicine in the last couple of years they put her on. Every medicine they put her on, she had a reaction to. So my wife had a wonderful life, as wonderful a life as I could provide for her, and she gave me a wonderful life every day she was in my life, and she still will, because I will hug her and hold her, and with this bed I have here, I will roll her over and I will clean her. I will tend to her bed sores. I will roll her back over. And at night, I will get in the bed next to her and I will put my arm over her and I will tell her, I'm right next to you, honey. I'm right here with you. Like I was for 32. Well, we've been together 37 years. Been married 32 years. So, I just wanted to give you that update. Please, please, please don't stop taking your blood thinners. Please talk to your doctors about your treatments. I would like to see Pradaxa. I'd like to see doctors look at that dosage. There should be some sort of analysis of that, because I'm seeing a lot of stuff online about that. So, but please, please, please take care of yourself. Think about the end of life situation that you're facing before you face it. This is as real as it gets. Honest to God, turning the damn television off would solve half of this situation of being lost in a fantasy land of television while life passes you by, and you should be out in the neighborhood talking to your friends and your neighbors with your wife by your side, and you could all be playing a game of touch football, get some exercise, and your wife could be knitting in a chair with her friends instead of watching the television. But that's what my wife wanted to do, and I let my wife do whatever she wanted to do, as much as she wanted to do it, because it's her life, and I just was happy to have her in my life. So that's the update. We're blessed to have the people we have in this situation. And I want to thank everybody who took care of Wanda, because they treated her like gold. I don't know who in the hell talks about. Everybody wants to make a negative statement about our healthcare system. Everybody. They want to dump on the doctors. They want to dump on the nurses. They want to dump on the people that clean people in nursing homes. They want to dump on the people who make the food in the hospital.